I've been
Unmasked.
unmasked.
Awesome. We are rolling.
Okay.
Awesome. How are you, my friend?
It's been a long 2023, but
Yeah?
It's been a journey. I'm excited.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What's been long about it?
Unfortunately, I had a great guy. He was my mentor. Brought me to Arizona, met all these wonderful people, all these great experiences, transformed my life. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he had cancer, and he brought me here from Texas. I'm originally from Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm a native there.
Really?
Yeah. I worked in in the computer field, and he's been my mentor since I graduated college. So
Wow.
it was pretty tough. So tomorrow, is going home, service. So it's unfortunate.
Gotcha. How'd you meet him in the first place?
I had my first job, computer job.
Really?
Yeah. He was the CMO of the company. Yeah, he took a liking to me, and we built a great relationship. And he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be taking a director job working for GoDaddy. Come with me." And I was like, "You want me to leave everything behind?" He was like, "Yeah, I want you to leave everything." Now I was like, "Arizona?" He was like, "Yeah, Arizona." And that kind of started. Yeah, that kind of started my fashion journey. I knew somebody also here previously. She was with Phoenix Fashion Week, and that's kind of where I began like this.
Really?
Yeah. And prior to that, I was always a fashion blogger before I even got into fashion. So I've always been into it, always been a snazzy dresser, but, I would have never dreamed that I'd actually be designing clothes for real. So it's pretty cool.
That's crazy. So you went from working in like a tech industry, like with computers, to the fashion stuff. So did he help like bridge that gap then between?
No, just exposure. Just being in the right place at the right time. They say there's a 6 degree of separation. I think in the 21st century, I would say it's 3. So now it's because of social media, LinkedIn, things like that, Instagram. There's no longer 6 degrees now. It's really 3.
Explain that a little bit more.
So there's a theory, right, that to get to the person that you want to talk to, it's usually by 6 people. Like let's say you wanted to connect with the president or something. There's really 6 people that you would need to connect with, and you actually have a direct connection with that person.
I've never heard that before.
The 6 degrees of separation. Yep. Check it out.
Wow. I'll have to look into that.
It's really cool. It's true. It's a rule.
It's cool. It's cool that you mentioned that too, because I know that there's been a lot of people in my life specifically that I would have never have thought I would have connected with.
Right.
Whether it be music artists, whether it be just high-end entrepreneurs or anything like that. And it's crazy of how little connections or how little people do stand between you and that person.
Correct.
It just takes like meeting this one guy and then they know this guy. But then you just have to know how to network through it. You have to know how to climb the ladder a little bit, not be afraid to be like, hey, if you know this kind of person that can do this, that'd be cool if you can connect it. Because like one person could be like, oh, I mean, I used to be in this industry, so I know a lot of people in that industry. I'm not in it anymore, which is why you're meeting me at a cafe or something.
Right.
But I used to be in here, so if you're interested in X field, I know like 4 people still in that field that I can connect you to, and if you can get good connections with them, and like it's all about just who you know and marketing and stuff.
Yep, your net worth is your network. So
Absolutely.
That's true. So you really got to optimize that. It's critical.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
So how long was he your mentor for?
Oh, almost over 11 years. Yeah. So hit pretty hard. So so tomorrow's gonna be rough, but still standing and dealing with that. So I've been kind of in a fog, in a cloud. Especially, I'm logical first, creative second. So I don't get the warm and fuzzies when I'm like, oh man, I'm making a new design. I'm exploding the design from a reverse engineering aspect where how can we sell this? Who are we targeting? And that's how I think when I make clothes. I make them very intentionally. Yeah. So even everything I do is very strategic. So it's not like random. So it's very much on purpose. And I always, what I've learned in my journey is being an entrepreneur is a king is only as wise as his counsel.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, you're full of all like the best quotes here. I like that.
But I apply them. Again, wisdom is just words unless executed upon.
Oh, 100%.
So people learn, see things. We have the most powerful supercomputers in our back pocket, which is our cell phones, right? Yeah. We got Open Chat GPT out here, all this crazy stuff. Alexa, anything you want. Yeah, right. I think, but it's what's going on. It's too much information, too much access, and again, like I said, it's the captain. The ship is only as good as its captain.
Right.
So you can have the best crew, the perfect seas, the perfect sails, all the rations. You could have everything perfect, but if the captain doesn't know really how to manage the ship, know how to steer the ship's not going to really make it to its destination.
But it's also vice versa too, because if you have a really shitty captain, but you have a really good crew, then you're still kind of in the same boat. I mean, if you don't have the best leadership, no one's going to know like which direction to follow. You could be having certain people that aren't put in the right spot. You can have someone that's really good at analytics, and it's like, oh, why are you in the boiler room? And you can have someone who's really good at mapping stars or mapping direction.
But knowing how to, it's like having a symphony. Being the orchestra leader, right?
Right.
The symphony only works if the orchestra leader keeps everybody in sync.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with being a captain. So
absolutely,
you might be, like you said, going to your point.
Yeah.
You might be a great person, astrologer, like you can map out the guide, but everybody has to be in harmonious, have the same single mindset,
Yeah.
And also having that discipline, you know what I mean, to keep things in line. It is a lot, coming at you. So day to day for me.
So for those who don't know who you are, I kind of want to. I like how some people give like introductions for the person, but I also like how people kind of explain themselves. So for those who have no idea who you are, what your brand is, what your company is, or anything, can you give like a little elevator speech or like a little bit of like an introduction of who you are?
My name is J.C. Donaldson. I'm the founder and designer, or I like to call myself the fashion architect of two brands, actually. We're now three. House of Donaldson, where we deliver confidence through custom luxury, because you're the masterpiece. We add the details. That we specialize in men's and women's contemporary clothing. That includes suits, dresses, dress shirts, accessories, as well as shoes. And leather goods as well. Yeah. And then we have our sub-brand called Donaldson, which we're going to market. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Can't wait.
Which is new. And then we also have Being Dapper, which I was known for, right? Where being dapper is a lifestyle, right? And where we design dashing apparel for the modern man. So that's our ready-to-wear a brand. Where I first started back in 2018 when I launched my collection. So we started there, and then House of Donaldson has been around for a couple of years now. It's more very established, but I figured out who my target demographic. I figured out what I wanted to sell, and that was critical.
Okay, so what was the first brand that kind of launched everything?
Dapper.
Being Dapper. Okay, and what was the process of launching that company for you?
Man, listen, I went to Phoenix Fashion Week again. My mentor brought me out here in 2014. Saw it. I was taking little pictures. I was doing my little blog. I would travel around the world. I would have like, yo, this is JC. This is the Being Dapper show. It was like an impromptu. Set up a little raggedy tripod. Have a little camera out, run and shoot, or my actual cell phone. And then I would film. And what the purpose of Being Dapper was to tell men, bachelors, it's okay to travel by yourself. It's important that you learn etiquette. It's always about how you appear. Appearance is important.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, also financial literacy. How to save, just little tips and tricks, right? Guys are looking for guidance. I'm not trying to be anybody's dad by any means, but I feel like it was needed, right? And then I went to Phoenix Fashion Week in 2014. I started the blog in 2011, and 3 years later, I'm moved here, getting established in Arizona, and I saw Phoenix Fashion Week. So this lady named Kim, she comes up to me. She's like, "Oh, you want to be part of the boot camp program?" Well, look at this pamphlet. I threw it in the trash. I was like, "I'm not trying to do any of that. Like, I don't know how to do that. Like, leave me alone. Like, I just want to blog and be left in peace. I didn't know anybody. I was scared. Just kind of by myself, right? In my own zone." 15 come back again. She's like, "Oh, you came back." I was like, "Yep. I just want to I want to blog." And kind of like, I looked at it a little bit longer this time, and still threw it in the trash. And then
oh man,
16 happened, where I was like, you know what? I was thinking about it. I made these things. I'm not wearing one, but I made the flower lapel, and I bought some, and then I reverse engineered it. I said, you know what? I can make these. So I made a couple, and then went down to Brothers Taylor's at North Phoenix, and it was like I was super hot at this cheap polyester suit. I was burning up. It had to have been 110 out there. I promise to God. And I was like, hey, I got these flower lapels. It was terrible. And the guy looked at me, like, looked me up and down. You know, I'm in a fine Ben's, you know, custom suit store.
Yeah.
You know, but my heart's pumping. I'm like, I'm going to try to attempt to, you know, sell the, I'm still working my day job, working in technology. And I want to try to sell this thing. And he was like, give me 1 second. He's just kind of laughing and chuckle. He talked to his dad. He's like, you know, we don't have any accessories. He's like, perfect timing. He will take 200. No. I was like, 200. Oh, wow.
200.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to make. I was like, yes. I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to make these. But I just took the order, bro.
Honestly, kind of just got to jump in the deep end sometimes.
I jumped in the deep end.
If you get too nervous and like, oh, man, I don't have that. And you're like, well, give me a little bit. It's like sometimes you just got to be like, you know what? I'm going to throw the lure out, and then whatever bites, and I'll figure out how to roll
I hit like 6 stores gathering materials, and then all weekend long, after my 9 to 5, I burned my hand on glue sticks and trying to assemble these things. And I did. I assembled them. I was very proud of that. Still got footage of that, and then gave them to him. And I was like, he was like, okay, cool. And them things sold like in a month. They were out of here, bro.
No way.
Yeah, sold like hotcakes.
So was it like a wholesale versus retail relationship?
Yeah, I learned that was my first rodeo. You know, learn the numbers and like learn the cost of goods sold. Like I went to Texas A&M, have a business degree in marketing, so I understand like business math and how that works. Yeah. So I already knew like how to do it.
Right.
My capstone class is hilarious. My last class in college was how to run a shoe factory.
Really?
Yeah. Who knew? The universe is funny, right?
Yeah.
The universe was already doing all this crazy stuff like before I became a designer. That's like, you're gonna become a designer. You don't know it yet, but you're gonna do it. We're gonna keep putting little things in your way to guide you to the ultimate goal, which is becoming a designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then from there, I was like, cool. So we had a relationship. I would go to like Churchill, smoke cigars, and I would see guys wearing my lapels. I was very proud of that. I was like,
you'd see them like wearing your products.
Men wearing my stuff, and it was really cool.
That's gotta feel good.
Yeah, we were selling metal. We went from flowers that I had metal lapels. I made those using the special epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started making T-shirts, and it was called the Gentleman's T-shirt. It was called, and then that was what Being Dapper was kind of really like soft launch. I'll go pop-up shops, and I literally came out with a T-shirt that said "Nah, bro." The reason why it was a gentleman's T-shirt was you could wear it with a blazer with a V-neck, so you have this really cool graphic, but you also could be kind of smart casual. That was the trick. Yeah. Yep.
And was that a hot product for you as well?
Yeah, I would go and we would sell the product. I only had 2 or 3 designs. The Nah Bro shirt originally, I think one just said Dapper, and then I had my little Being Dapper sweaters. And I did my first collection in the ASU gym at a hair show of all places.
Really?
I grabbed models off the campus. It was crazy. Like people didn't show up, but the guys that showed up were awesome. I appreciate them for that to this day. Really standing in the gap for me on that. And then I was just more encouraged. So then and I kept going to Phoenix Fashion Week. I think on that year, 16, I did keep the pamphlet this time. So I put it in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
And then 17, I was with some friends. I was like, yeah. I was drunk. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be on that stage, man. And they were like, you're drunk. Sit down. You're wasted, bro. Yeah. And I was serious though. Now I was taking it serious. So I had the courage now.
Right.
2 years later, from 14 to 17, almost 3 years, right?
Right.
And then I applied. I was very organized. My mom and dad are also entrepreneurs. They own a graphic design firm. So design really does come easily. It's the way it makes sense. My mom has a degree in graphic design from University of North Texas, and so does my father, has a degree in business. So like having the creative eye is easy. Putting colors and stuff together is cake. So I put my little application in there, submitted it. They accepted me, went into the program, and they absolutely hated Being Dapper.
No,
bro, it was bad. They were like, "How can you have a brand called Being Dapper when you got T-shirts?" And I was upset because I was like, Arizona's so casual. They wouldn't understand like suiting and waistcoats and top coats. It's just when I got here, everybody was too chill.
Right.
And then Brian Hill, director of Phoenix Fashion Week, worked with me, and I made a very pinnacle decision. In the middle of boot camp, I decided I was going to go from streetwear, which is suicide, in the 6 weeks. This is 6 weeks to runway, and remove my classification to contemporary. He was like, "That's a death wish." You know what I mean? I was like, dude, I've already paid the money for the boot camp. I got this. And then there's another milestone of confidence that I built. You know, it was like, okay, I can do this. So literally in 6 weeks, I scrambled and built insane collection in 10 weeks. I don't know how I did it.
Really?
It's a blur. It was nuts. Like the collection came out and people were blown away. Like their faces like melted off. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
We opened my collection 18 October with a classical violinist. Shout out to Jonathan. He opened it up, begged him to do it. He did it pro bono. I said, man, you don't get exposure. I didn't have any money. You know, I was broke. And he was like, okay. You know, he went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
And he opened it up with Drake's God's Plan on a violin. So my parents were there. And the people went crazy after he opened the show, and then my collection comes out.
Dang.
And it's like this smart casual, just like as I dreamt it up. It's like dress shirts. We had some shorts, and then it builds, and then so towards the end, now we have full custom suits. Then we have varsity jackets, and then we have this beautiful tuxedo that comes out on the end. It's incredible, like so 10 pieces, but just. You know, even Phoenix Fashion Week said, wow, you know, that's extreme change. Like,
yeah.
And
especially from like
quick.
The streetwear type of stuff to that's got to be like a full 180.
It's a full 180. Yeah.
Dang. So did you always want to be more in the contemporary field, or was that kind of like a last minute decision for you?
It was in my heart. I always wanted to do it, but I was really worried in the environment that I'm in. You know, this is a very resort wear, retiree. Everybody's excuses. The only reason why I don't dress up is too hot.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't want to do that. I thought I was going to be rejected. People were going to laugh at me. I didn't think it was going to sell. I didn't think anybody would want it. So that's the reason why I was really reluctant to launch it. You know, I didn't want to really walk in, I call it my purpose-driven life. I didn't want to walk into that. So I ran away from my destiny. So I tried to blend in, because there's an old saying, you blend in, you'll be forgotten. If you stand out, you'll be remembered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with having all those doubts and stuff in your head, what was the triggering thought that was like, you know what? Screw these like thoughts of failure, thoughts that I'm not going to be able to do it. Like, how did you get over that hump of not doing it at first because of all these doubts to, you know what, just jumping in the deep end, just like screw it, going for it? Well,
I mean, for me, it was just like I was just kind of tired of the doubters, right, in the program. You know, I was tired of it, and I was just like, you know what, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's bet it all. You know what I mean? It was kind of like it was like a Hail Mary. You know, I just throw it, let's go. You know, the runways are, you know, the boot camp, it was expensive. You know, it's an investment to learn how to become learn about the business of fashion. The program pretty much is really great because it teaches you basically the disciplines of, because it's not just like being a designer, it's really running the business. And I was also a seasoned entrepreneur. I had another business when I was in college. I was paying my way through school. It was called the Concierge Touch. So I already had been doing this.
I love these names.
Yeah. Oh, right. See, that's my parents. That's my parents, right? Marketing, you know, and graphic design. So I had a business. It was called the Concierge Touch, and had like 7 employees. And it was like guys.
Really?
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yes, bro.
So what happened to that business?
That shut down. I mean, after I had moved out of Texas, but it was great. It served me well. It gave me a great lifestyle. Yeah. I was able to pay a lot of my tuition cash, which is crazy. Lived very comfortable lifestyle. Like, you know, I was, you know, in my 20s living in like townhomes, driving luxury cars. People kind of look at me in the side eye a lot of times, like, what does this guy do? You know, but I was legit. You know, I worked hard. I worked, 6 days a week. Worked in the service industry. So, you know, I would do like, my business was doing like, the max, it was 12 hours, and I was like making like take home cash, like $1,200, $1,400. That ain't bad for a 20-year-old.
$1,200 to $1,400, is that a day, or is that?
That's a weekend. It's only 12 hours of work though.
Bro, so you're getting paid like $1,000 a day, or $1,000 an hour?
A week. Yeah, $1,000 a week, you know, and that's part-time. And then now I'm still clocking and doing my full-time job too. So I was like, straight killing it. I wanted more because during that time I was actually even trying to go to real estate school. Yeah. And on top of all of that.
Really?
But then I was doing the time of the recession. Yep. So you know how that went. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there was none of that. But that as the recession happened, it's like economics, right? As depression is kind of messed up. When depression leans in, what do people do? They use escape. Yeah. So more people were going to nightclubs. More people were spending money they didn't have. Yeah. So I'm making money like the bank, bro, the mint. I'm just killing it. Final Four, I mean, I would do New Year's there. I hated doing New Year's, but New Year's would help me literally. I could do a New Year's weekend and I would have enough to pay my college tuition for the semester in a weekend.
So what was what were you selling or doing in this company?
Believe it or not, I was a bathroom attendant. Yes, I was the bathroom guy.
That's what the concession or the
concierge touch was. Yeah, we had different guys in different bathrooms around the city doing this, but it was the way I did it was totally different. Me as a CEO, I always wore an all white, beautiful linen Joseph Above suit. I had the humidor set up, high end premium colognes, cigar cutters, everything was set. Then I copied that program. I had uniforms. Every guy had a Kenneth Cole suit, white pocket square, 4 established colognes, and then they bought back their kit and they paid a leasing fee to borrow the restroom. They would have a flat rate that they would pay me every weekend, where it was like $25, $40 a day, but it would add up.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, let's say it's, I don't know, 5 guys working for you per day.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're paying out $40.
That's
each.
a couple $100.
That's a couple $100, you know.
There.
So then you have your own. You're being a bathroom attendant that night. You're working.
Yeah.
You pull in another 3, 4, you know, and then they pay their leasing fee. You know, let's just say $200. I get $200 that day on Friday, and then I poured in 3. I made 5.
Dang.
And then I would do that, you know, 3 times. So you think about that. So that's 200. Let's say all these guys are working, $600 passive, not even lifting a finger. And then I'm pulling in probably from myself about 1,100. So it can be like 17 some weeks. It could be around, you know, 1,000, 12 for just working. What was it? 10:30 to 2 was the shift. Wasn't bad at all.
Dang.
Yeah, bro.
And obviously they're working like off of tips and stuff, right?
Yep. Everybody worked on tips and everybody had flat fees. Then they signed 1099s. They used to do in college. They would have me stand up and I would talk about the business, and I would do PowerPoint presentations on how effective it was, and my accountants I had professional CPAs, the whole 9, bro. It was the legit business, like real, like website, the whole, yeah, dude, real deal, bro. Like people were like, this is crazy. Like,
see, that's one of the few careers that, like, obviously in like high-end hotels or restaurants or something, you see something like that, but you don't even realize the business behind it. How did you find the business behind it?
I worked for a guy. What ended up happening was they broke the contract. They got tired of that company. They said, what do you want to do? We like you. We don't like them. What do you want to do? And it was just business. It wasn't personal. I was like, I'll stay. Yeah. And that's how it got started. So so
you were working for another company that was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just liked you instead.
Yeah, they cut. And then so from that, you know, I had to make a business decision. I was like, can't continue to stay loyal to this company.
Yeah.
Or they didn't want the company working. I don't know what they were doing, but they just fell out. And so they picked me up. They said, man, you work here, keep all your tips, do your thing. We love your style. Show up in a white suit, you're professional, you're on time. We love that. So keep doing what you're doing. So, and then we know that you're in college, you know, you're an honest kid, you're doing your thing. So the secret was I had, again, business is war. And you have to, in order to win the war, you're going to have to come with battle strategy. Mm-hmm. I was losing with my employees because I didn't find the right employees. So I started hiring military guys, problem solved.
Oh, because they already had that discipline. They already had that respect.
My dad's ex-military. He was there since 95. He retired in 2020. I remember my dad, I knew he instilled that in me. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's the secret. So there was our base there. Those guys are not doing anything but, you know, drinking with their friends, you know, kicking it. And I was like, come with me, make some extra money. They can come off base. You know, it was perfect. It was a match made in heaven.
And they're making a couple $100s in their pocket for easy work.
Just sitting there.
Because usually those kind of guys go to like security jobs and stuff. And
just making them more. That.
And like obviously they make some money, but they got to deal with some bullshit being a security guard. They got to deal with all the drunk assholes. They got to deal with this. And they got to deal with that.
You still deal with that, but you have security within. Yeah. And also the managers also had them sign an agreement. So it was 2 agreements. So we had a non-compete and NDA. Yeah, non-compete NDA, and then there was a general agreement of what the concierge touch was going to do. If employees got drunk, they were late, they were automatically terminated. If I had your driver license, social security number, all that stuff. Yeah. So it was on the up and up. It was all dedicated on the iPad. I had DocuSign before it even blew up. Dang. It was hardcore, dog. And I'm not playing no games, man. A very, very like tight business. So guys tried to take clothes from me. I was thought to pull up. He said, hey, man, nothing personal. I said, no, it's totally personal, but this is business. Let me show you how we do that. Showed up, pulled up, had the iPad too at the time, pull up, put it in, and says, "You signed this and this. Read clause section A, it's the clause B." And he's like, "This is," and then I would bring the manager in. I say, "So you can now pack up and go home. See ya, and leave the bag too. That's also in your agreement that you can't take the clothes with you. That's null and void. Ooh. See ya. Adios. I didn't play, and I still don't play.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
it's a different game now. It's a different game we're playing now. It's like a whole new level.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang. So who taught you all this stuff in business then?
School, parents, watch them do their thing, teaching them. You know, I'm still learning. I'm still a student. You know, what I mean, I'm always still trying to learn. Student. Always a student. You know, never always trying to iron sharpens iron. Always reading books. Always trying to build my repertoire of wisdom. You know, seeking out. I pay like for House of Donaldson before we launched it. We had 7 months. A good friend of mine is my consultant, Spark Partners. Shout out to them. They really helped to set the structure up for House of Donaldson. Manny Tarian was amazing and was huge in implementing the structure of how House of Donaldson is going to operate. Because being dapper, no, I'm not going to even lie, we were throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. It was okay. Yeah. I had the formulas from Phoenix Fashion Week, but we really needed to drill down a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. And really, if we're gonna go into the high luxury, well, like what I sell is quiet luxury, then we had to get a consultant in there. So we spent 7 months with a consultant. Then we launched, got everything on the up and up, and then started crushing it. Plus, I also was enrolled into the See Me Grant program, which is amazing. For 2 years, I was in that program, and they helped with financial literacy, getting funded from a bank. They also gave me a lot of opportunities to now I'm in the airport now.
Really?
Yeah. I do the merchandising this weekend or next week. We do the merchandise. I have 2 stores en route and Travel Outfitters now. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Terminal 3 and 4. Yep.
And is that like all like the suits and stuff that you're selling?
No, it's actually the leather goods here.
Let's see what this guy is. You brought something good in, and I know you were telling me about it.
So they bought a couple of different items here. So we got a luggage tag. So I came up. I went back to the accessories. I went back to the formula. Accessories. They don't let you down. You know, I went to that because during the pandemic. Yep, during the pandemic. There was, it comes with a little dust cover right here.
Oh, that's too cool.
A nice little box. So Donaldson is a starter of our ready to wear. And we also collaborate with corporations now as well with the Donaldson line. So we make backpacks, briefcases, passport books, card holders, wallets, and luggage tags. And just really, they're 100% leather. And I wanted to give us something premium where, you go into like, I'm not knocking any other brands out there, but a lot of times made out of vinyl and it just breaks apart. And especially with the heat, it just starts peeling. It just looks bad. And we came up with this during the pandemic because no one was really buying suits. Everything was all messed up. Yeah. So I came up with the accessory. While I was building out the infrastructure for House of Donaldson, I said, you know what? Here's a bonus. So we came up with Donaldson. So that's what we're going to market with. And that's going to be, this is the beginning of more products to come, but I always start with the accessories. Yeah. Get a hold of that, and then we kind of build out. We start small and then build larger. That's kind of what I did with House of Donaldson, because being dapper, we started first with the flower lapels, then T-shirts, then ready to wear, and then went back into figuring out how to do the custom part. And the custom clothes are great because, we can do high luxury. Next week I'm going to go to Italy to set up trade with more of the mills over there to have better premium products, working on better best practices on how we deal with our customers. It's the first time getting a custom suit. What you expect from me, what is to be expected, and how the process works. But some people don't really know how that works. I have a team of master tailors and seamstresses at my helm to help me that, and embroiderers. That's why it's called House of Donaldson, because it's a fashion house. Gotcha. So I'm just the architect. I'm not the cut and sew man, but I make it look good, put it together.
So you kind of like make like the first prototype and kind of just make the first initial
we sketch
thing.
It out. We do the brainstorming and figure out what you want. Learn where you live, what you do, what's your profession, why do you want to wear the suit, where do you wear the suit, what would you do in the suit, etc. Because it's more, it's more of a lifestyle thing. We're being dapper. We're revamping that where it's going to be more of a haberdashery. So it's going to have all types of just ready to wear items on there, so guys can purchase on a situation, whatever. If you got to go to a wedding or job interview, we'll have a bunch of items set for that. Yeah. But so House Donaldson will remain custom. And then Donaldson will be our ready-to-wear brand for the sub-brand for House of Donaldson. Where it'll be like, again, high-end like luxury goods and things of that nature. If you want anything custom, again, House of Donaldson.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is such like a niche market, though. Like, out of all the people and entrepreneurs that I've even met in Phoenix, you're the only person that I've so far met that has like specialized in something like this. What was there a specific thing that triggered this specific niche for you?
Well, I learned, don't be the cheapest guy.
Yeah.
Bring quality over quantity. I want certain items on me. Yeah. I know that I don't really like polyester suits because they're hot, right? Yeah. So don't make them. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with polyester. Yeah. There's a time and place for it. Right. So if it's a young guy, let's say the demographic is like 18 to like 26 or something, and he needs a suit just to get ready for an interview. Yeah. Go on down to Be and Dapper. I got you. If you want to take it to the next level, eventually we'll offer semi-custom fits. Then Donaldson, but that'll be more of the retail play. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just kind of figuring out where is my target demographic, who are they, what do they do, and what matters, what are they value. So that's really how I came up with that. And it makes sense. And so far, so good. Yeah, any business is gonna have a little ups and downs. Yeah. But other than that, we're definitely adding on value. I was in Portugal. That's actually where one of our facilities is. We have a global infrastructure. Yeah, global infrastructure. We make shoes. The shoes that I'm wearing, I made these. Those are clean. Yeah, we made these in a 3D CAD model. We hand make them. They're handmade in Spain. Really? Yes. Yep.
Dang. Yep. So like everything pretty much that you run is all about just like living like luxury kind of, or like. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be. Yeah. I always say dress how you want to be addressed. Yeah. But I would say no. I wouldn't say that. That's Tom Ford. I would say dress for the impact that you're trying to receive.
That's a big thing. That's the difference. Yeah, because I know there's obviously a lot of people are like, oh, I don't get why business people always have to wear suit and ties. I remember growing up, I used to kind of be in that mindset of like, why is it like a suit and tie? Why can't it just be a jeans and a t-shirt and stuff and doing all this? And obviously, yes, there are like Mark Zuckerberg and stuff. You'll see him in a t-shirt and jeans, or Steve Jobs, but
he's a billionaire.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna touch on that. I love that you brought that gentleman up. Yeah. When he has to go to Congress, or he has to go to the Senate, what is Mark Zuckerberg wearing then?
A suit and tie.
There you go. Yeah. Dress for the impact you're trying to receive.
Exactly.
Buddy rolls up there in a t-shirt and some jeans. They're really gonna get upset.
Oh yeah.
That is not the culture in Capitol Hill. They're not gonna play that. Yeah. And they say you even in court, right? Yeah. You're getting in front of the judge out of respect. There's a certain demeanor. And there's a time and place for it, Absolutely. Just know the time and the place. I feel like there's a forced culture, I've seen it in Arizona where I'm going to wear this smart casual. I want you. I'm a millionaire. I want you to accept this, and you don't have to. It's okay to be spiffy a little bit. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there's sometimes when I first started in the business, even when I was wearing suits before I was a designer, there was a negative orientation with gentlemen wearing suits in AZ. Right. It was weird. And then now I'm starting to see, it's great to see that started to pivot and change. And restaurants are saying, no, the culture is changing. They're like, no, you can't come up here, because it also brings a certain familiarity brings contempt. So let's say me and you were having fun, and I say, hey man, let's go, paint the town red and let's go to Maestro's. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Maestro's is a nice restaurant. White tablecloth, right? Right. Guy shows up in a hoodie. He gets a little wasted. Starts being out of pocket. He comes to our tables and he starts disturbing us. You wouldn't really like that, would you? Hell no. Okay, so if you want that type of experience, you would go somewhere casual. Exactly. You can kick it in Old Town or something like that, right? You didn't come for that. You came for a fine dining meal, somewhere quiet where you can, relax. Yeah. And it's nice. It's dim. It's spiffy, right? It's a sexy ambiance. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. That's why, like in Dallas Fort Worth. No, they don't play that. Yeah, they don't play that. Matter of fact, it's in like some restaurants, it's in bronze, no shirt, no tie, no service. Yeah, like that. And there's nothing wrong. It's good. That's good.
Which honestly, I feel like there's also a connotation behind not only how you act, but like, okay, so especially in something like the rap industry. Yeah. When you see all these people that are trying to make themselves look like they're rich, instead of actually being rich. Like, they're the ones that will like, oh, I'm gonna wear. I'm not gonna be a business suit. I'm gonna wear jeans and a t-shirt, but I'm gonna make sure it's like a Gucci shirt or something like that. And I feel like that kind of makes it to where it's like the false wealth type of thing, because when you talk to those truly financially successful people, they're not trying to impress anybody at that point. They're not trying to flash the fact that they got money, and so that's why they choose to wear t-shirt and jeans. Because
now watch this though. I'm gonna blow your mind. They are wearing something called quiet luxury, which is that's what I designed. All right. So we cut with a fabric called Lloyd Piani. They call it the fabric of kings. Easily. Lloyd Piani suit, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 skate ball. $8,000. It could be super expensive. You wouldn't know it. But they believe in quality goods.
Absolutely.
So it's a little bit more quieter. Now, the difference is what you're talking about. We call that signaling items. So when you're wearing Gucci, Chanel, it's flashy all over, but there are versions, quiet luxury, that Louis Vuitton makes. Actually, it's the inverted. It's the ultra expensive stuff that does not have Louis Vuitton on it.
Exactly.
So you see like the high end runways, those are the people. That's their buying. They're talking the 1.5%, right? When those, right? So the little flashy stuff is for everybody else is trying to look.
Exactly. It's like, hey, I can afford Gucci, so pay attention to me. Versus
pay attention.
Like, this is a plain black shirt. It could be Gucci, it could be Louis Vuitton, it could be H&M. You don't know. Other than if you were to examine the quality, if you were to examine everything about that. And that's one thing I super respect about like the fashion industry too, because these high-end companies know how to kind of cater to both like wealth levels and stuff, to those who are trying to act wealthy versus those who are wealthy. Because obviously, yes, you can find a billionaire that does wear Louis Vuitton, but you can also find some guy who is a SoundCloud rapper who's trying to make himself look good, and he's like, hey, I have this thing. It says Louis Vuitton.
To each his own. One of the rappers' name, it was Young Jeezy. He said, instead of owning chains, I own buildings.
Exactly.
So you have to change the mindset, and then really, again, it's the culture. Like some guys, again, it goes vice versa. It pains me when you're a financial advisor showing up, in some casual stuff. I don't believe you. This is in Scottsdale. That's normal. Right? If you try to do that in Dallas or Chicago, probably won't work out too well for you. They're not going to believe you. So, but again, it's accepted culture. Be the change that you want to see.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's what, for me, that's kind of like, I'm not forcing it. It's like, I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I really, really enjoy looking like a proper gentleman. But I also learned real quick, there has to be a middle ground with smart casual. So you can kind of have that, very, preppy kind of nice look. You got some nice shorts and some chinos, or you can wear some loafers with that, nice polo.
It's more casual, but it's still
it's called the old money look. You know what I mean? So you can still do that. But I mean, to each his own. That's is this how you express yourself?
Right.
I don't knock it, but whatever you do, it's marketing. Just remember that. Whatever you're doing, you're saying something. You're trying to say something. When people look at you, they're like, it's some. They're trying to add it up. So if they're saying like, you see a guy at Supreme or Louis Vuitton is super flashy,
you automatically put a storyline in your head about who they are.
Right, who they are. It could be, right? Or if I see a guy, doesn't matter if he says, "Oh, I'm a multi-billionaire and I got my New Balances on." I'm like, "You look crazy. You look, what are you doing?" I mean, like. In China, this is really interesting. China and their culture is interesting. They want you to know they made it. If you don't show that you have made it, they don't believe you.
Really?
Yes.
And it's
the car, everything, the lifestyle must align. Like they were like, you say you're a millionaire, you trying to live. You look bummy. You look too bummy, and it's making me nervous. It looks, because it's okay to be conservative. By no means. Conservative is a mindset and a lifestyle. Some people just generally like being low key. That's cool. I don't knock the guy that's been extremely flashy. You got to find what works for you, and that's fashion. That's it.
That's obviously there's an old saying: "Don't judge a book by its cover."
Indeed.
I'm gonna say though that's the biggest bullshit saying I've ever heard, because no matter what, psychologically we always judge a book by its cover. 100%. That's how we protect ourselves. That's how we formulate of who's going to be the best person. Like, obviously, yes, there's going to be outliers in it. You could find a billionaire that's wearing New Balances and Vans or all that kind of stuff. But if you do date back to lineage, or you do kind of take it back, typically those people are going to be in suits. And so you see someone in a suit, that's why you look at them like, hey, you look professional. I'm going to talk to you because you present yourself in a way that isn't sloppy, isn't like, oh, I don't actually make a lot of money, versus if you see a guy with just like a hoodie and loafers on, or with Vans or something, you're not going to immediately be like, oh, you probably make a lot of money, or you probably are very successful in your field. And
sure.
It's
perception is reality.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons, like, I never was into the whole sagging pants thing.
No.
For me, I was like, it doesn't.
It's distasteful. So,
yeah.
But again, you are literally the environment that you're in.
Yeah.
Accepted culture.
Absolutely.
So, you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Of course, I aspire to be much more financial literate, to understand, right? But again, in order to do that, you gotta kick it with the people that are, they always you want to be around winners so your wins don't sound like you're bragging.
Yeah.
So if you are around people that are always losing, right? And they're like, "Dang, you always braggadocious." It's like, no, because you're always losing, my boy. Like, that's really what's going on. Like, and that's no fun. Kevin Hart even said, he said, "Man, it's no fun when you got all the money and your friends is broke."
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, that sucks. I mean, 100%. Like you guys can't do anything. They're like, hey man, I want to go to Spain. Like, oh man, like here he goes.
Then you start have these connotations like, are they starting to use me? Are they looking at me different now? And like it starts.
But you gotta. Everybody that's why you say your circle has to be on the same wavelength. Y'all gotta be. Y'all gotta be. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta vibrate at a higher level. So if it's not that, then you need to remove yourself from that circle and then find a better one. And not that they're fake or anything, but you're just gonna outgrow. That's just life. And the same thing there. When you're exposed to something new, I met so many guys. They come here from Chicago, Milwaukee. Especially like Chicago, super. Like Southside Chicago, extremely dangerous. Very brutal, right? Chirac. They come to Arizona like, whoa, this is nice, no crime. Like, and then there's a hope, right? And now they can actually get around people that can lift them up. Yeah. When you're around all that negative energy all your life, and it's so dangerous. That's gonna do something to you, man. 100%. It's gonna mess you up. You're gonna be traumatized. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so have empathy, and because I don't know, you know what I mean? But but like it's for you to be the light. Yeah. That kind of how my mentor was. I was doing well, but he said I can make you do better. Yeah. See. So if you're open to it, but you got to be open to it. You got to be open to be able to be the change. It might take you some time. But keep showing up. Hey man, I know you kicking in with these guys, or ladies too, right? Yeah. Don't post that. Right. Everything's not postable. Mm-hmm. Somebody picks up their phone, they look at your social media like, oh, I thought he was about this. Yeah. What is this? You know what I mean? It doesn't align to what you said, who you said you were. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And people need to learn that too, because post culture is crazy. Like it's like whatever, we get these likes because the reward center in your brain, right? Mm-hmm. It goes off every time you get a like. It's like dopamine.
It's like the acceptance. You're being accepted by society.
Addicting, right? Yeah. But you're not. It's not that acceptance is not making you wealthier. Exactly. Right. Yeah. You're doing anything to get the like. Right. Anything. You're scrutinized. Your character's now scrutinized. Doing sketchy stuff. The post is weird. But again. If that's what you want them to remember, the internet's undefeated. Yeah, it's always it's undefeated. They archive all your data, all that kind of stuff. At any moment, when they can pull it and they can ruin you. So you have to be very careful what you're posting, what you're saying, because they can use that to very very much incriminate you. So you have to watch that. If you feel like you got something, you got something special, and you're gonna be somebody. It's not worth it.
There was also, I know that there's a big psychological aspect behind how you dress and stuff too. Yes, because indeed. I'll have days to where I wake up, and if I stay in my pajamas all day, I'm going to be lazy all day. I don't, even if I plan for it to be a super productive, energy-filled day, if I'm not, forcing myself to, okay, I'm getting in, that's why, the work from home stuff didn't work for me, because for me, when I was working from home in the finance industry that I was in, I'd stay in pajamas, but for that, I'm not, my workflow is not good, everything is just off, because, I feel like changing outfits or presenting yourself in a certain way. That's why a lot of girls I've heard of, they'll put makeup on even if they're not going out. There you go. I want to feel good about myself. Exactly. It brings you self-confidence. Exactly. Your energy levels. If you can go out in a suit to something obviously the way you act in an interview is going to be different than how you talk to your friends, but then you also dress different when you're going to an interview versus when you're talking to your friends.
Sometimes. I'm business 24/7. Yeah. That's how I'm moving. I'm helping them. I enjoy solving complex problems. Trying to figure it out. Research. I'm like, okay, how can we get across this hump?
Yeah.
What is the issue? It doesn't mean no. It means next opportunity. Constantly pivoting. Constantly when people throw the bricks, you throw those bricks and you put them down, you make them steps to your success. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't say, okay, cool, grab a brick and then build.
Yeah.
Don't look at it as negative stuff. It's always the feedback, as long as it's constructive, not deconstructive to you, then that's good feedback. Because that way you can be like, okay, I can build on this, and this went wrong. How can we do this?
Oh yeah.
And then how you also talk, with your people. They want to know that you're the same person.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well,
no matter what you're doing though,
mm-hmm.
it's this topic's obviously been brought up a bunch, especially in this podcast.
Yes.
But the biggest thing I live by every single day is you are the average of everyone that you hang out with. Mm-hmm. Psychologically, we adapt to our surroundings, and so no matter what, that saying will always be 100% true. And I've seen it myself. Like when I first moved somewhere else, or when I go somewhere else, sometimes like the first people that you meet aren't the people that you're supposed to be hanging out with. It's just the most convenient people. You have to dig deep for those people that can help bring you up, and sometimes that's building yourself. Like I didn't meet the people that are in my circle now that I constantly hang out with, or that I constantly network with or anything, until I worked super hard on building myself. I stopped going out so much. I stopped partying so much. I stopped doing this and being lazy and hanging out with these people. And I started working on myself, and eventually like grew into knowing all these other people that are like, I mean, that's kind of the lifestyle I live, and they're on this whole other level of quote unquote success. But a lot of it just goes into just like it sucked cutting the bad apples from the tree. Especially because like you build a relationship with these people. They're still your friends, and it's not to say that they're anything less than you. It's just different. If they're on a different wavelength than you, then they might bring you on their wavelength, even though you're supposed to be on this other wavelength. And so, like it's been hard to like say no to some people. Like, hey, let's go hang out. I'm like, I can't, man. I can't. I gotta stay back. And they're like, okay. And then you guys don't talk for a year or something. You look back, and they're still doing some bullshit over here while you've finally grown, and they're like, yo, what happened? You've changed, and you're like, that's a compliment to me. The fact that you're saying I changed, that's a huge compliment to me, because
the growth.
I wanted to change. We're supposed to change. We're supposed to develop. And I didn't want to stay over here. And like I've had to look back on that, and I've had a lot of people that have come up to me and they're like, oh man, I feel stuck. And I'm like, well, first thing I'm gonna ask is, who do you hang out with? What's your circle looking like? What do you do? What's your constant activity? Are you going out every weekend? Are you doing this? Are you paying attention to yourself and what's going to develop you? Are you sitting down, writing out your goals and figuring out a plan to do all that? Or are you just being like, you know what, let's smoke some weed and do this all day? And like, I have no problem with people that smoke weed or drink and all that kind of stuff. There's a time and place for everything. There's those, like anytime I go to these bars or something and I see all these people that are constantly there that are just, oh yeah, we're regulars here. We drop a couple $100 at the bar every weekend or something. I'm like, I can tell you're really unhappy with your life. The fact that you're here instead of trying to enjoy life, instead of trying to chase all this other stuff, you're trying to pick up the same bartender for the last 3 weeks and she's telling you no every single time. There's a lot of unfulfillment that you have to try to find.
100%. Yeah, they find it's called. That's what I was saying earlier. Escapement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's what was going on. That's why I was like making a mint, because that's what they were doing. Escapement. Everything, they were losing their homes and it was messed up. They lost their jobs. It was messed up. So they're burning through their life savings. They're like, well, might as well live. That's what they're thinking. Not like you said, how can I pivot from this? How can I build a different business? How can I get around some people that are going through the same thing? How can we work together to get out of this stump, And depression is real, you know.
100%.
It's very real, and especially in the creative space. I've seen, I've lost friends that, took their life, So,
especially in the creative industry, because in the creative industry, in order to thrive, you have to know how to be in tune with yourself and your emotions.
Check.
that's the whole point of being creative. Creativity isn't just something that can be just put on like an automated type of process. Creativity sparks from something within, whether it's dark or light, or depending, like music is like the most emotional type of thing.
Sure.
And that's why some people, they have one-hit wonders versus they have constant things, because it's like they can constantly write, and people are like, oh, how do you write so many songs? Like, because I write what I'm feeling.
There you go. It comes from a place of truth.
Yeah.
And music is unique because it goes to the left and right brain.
Yeah.
So it's going like that. So I agree with you on that. That's why I said, when you are putting on the clothes, it does elevate. That's the reason why the goal is with House of Donaldson again is to deliver confidence through custom luxury.
Oh, the confidence and feeling I have when I'm wearing a proper suit, like I walk different, I feel different, I talk different. I feel like I'm walking through and I'm like, ooh, okay, my shoulders are up.
Absolutely.
It delivers something else versus like when I'm looking like, not like this, but like when I'm in shorts and a t-shirt or something, I'm like, all right, whatever. Or like even in the gym, like obviously I don't wear a suit and tie at the gym.
Sure.
But there, I'm like, okay. And like you said, it's about where you're at and what you're doing. For me, I can be in loungewear at the gym and still be in a good thing because it's my environment and that's what's socially acceptable. Sure. But if I'm staying in that all day and I'm out at dinner in pajamas and stuff.
But as a designer or a businessman, that's what you do.
Yeah.
It might behoove you to be wearing what you wear. You need to wear what you sell.
Yeah.
So, and live that lifestyle, because again, it's hard to, if I pull up in, like you said, in a tracksuit or something, then I'd be like, hey, what's up? It's time to get a suit. They'd be like, what are you wearing? Like, this is scary. That's like, you don't even care. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Again, there it goes. So, or when you're wearing the suit and you're just walking around, just doing business, look good, feel good, and people are like, man, you look sharp. What do you do? Then you say suits. They're like, oh, wow, it makes sense. Please give me your card. I'm in the market for X. Or if I'm in a suit and I'm a real estate guy. Oh, wow. Well, I am in the market because it's going to, the energy is going to be, they're going to gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
Oh, I work at, in finance. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm looking for a new money manager, Oh, yeah, thanks, man, or whatever. So, I mean, it's on purpose. And even going towards certain environments where your target demographic just kicks it. They're reading books if it's the library, or it's like at a high-end cigar spot, or at Ocean's 44 or something, and just do happy hour. Just hang out at the bar. Hang out where they would hang out. Yeah. And you'd be surprised on the type of conversations are had. You'd be surprised on how business relationships are built. But again, it's like just like a lion, right? Yeah. You can't. If you're looking for gazelles, you don't go over to where elephants graze. It doesn't make any sense.
It's cool. So. It's funny that you mentioned that too, because so I took a business class a little while ago when I was first starting one of my first companies, and one of the very first things that they taught us is to create your target audience, and it's not just generalization is the killer. Okay. I learned that in acting class. I learned that. It's good. I learned that in marketing class. Generalization is the killer. You need to be specific. And they're like, okay, what is their age? What do they like? What is their favorite food? What do they do for their free time? What, seriously, completely, oh, this is the character name John, and John likes to do this, and this. He's this old, and doing that. And when you start thinking like them, you start like, okay. Yep. And when you were saying that, it kind of clicked with me with that's how you can increase your network is by thinking okay, I want to be a business entrepreneur who is in the fashion industry and doing this. It's like, okay, well, think about where they would hang out. Are they hanging out at that shady little dive bar? Yeah. Are they hanging out at some frat party? No. They're hanging out at, like you said, that high-end cigar lounge. They're in Scottsdale at the high-end fashion or the high this, or look at events. If there's a high fashion event going on, it might be $300 to get in, but you can guarantee that other people are going to be there. Absolutely. And so it's and sometimes you have to make that initial investment of you know what, this is $1,000 for me to get in, but who am I going to meet there that I can? That
has never failed me. I mean, some of the networking events that I've gone to over the course of 2 years have netted me $30,000. Yeah. Going to networking events where exactly what you said. Yeah. Easy. And then what's cool is once you tap in with, you were talking about 6 degrees and 3 degrees of separation. Once you tap in one gentleman, he's going to tell 3 of his friends, and then they're going to come back, and it just continues to grow. 6 guys can give you, 24 real quick,
Well, especially if you make the impression on them, especially if you can make some sort of notable impression on them when you first meet them, that like if something gets triggered in another conversation with somebody else, they can be like, oh, actually, that just reminded me of this guy I just met last week at this event. He was wearing a super sharp suit, really cool watch. We talked about some really interesting stuff, and it's like, actually, you guys might be able to get along. Like,
happens all the time.
Yeah, that's literally how it happens. I mean, that's one of the ways that I got so far, even in acting. Like, obviously, I'm not an A-list actor.
Okay.
But I've had to go to different networking events. It's cost me a little bit of money, but the amount of directors I've met, the amount of producers, the amount of people there, and like entrepreneurs, even for being part of this organization that we're part of.
Yeah.
At first, I was a little bit hesitant, but then I was like, you know what? This could be a giant investment in myself. I'm going to be surrounded by people I need to be surrounded by.
Right.
It's going to cost me X amount of dollars, but what's going to be more worth the opportunities that this affords me, or saving the extra little bit every month or whatever kind of on,
it's funny you mentioned film, right?
Yeah.
We just finished this last month. This is the new month, June. But last month we did Cannes Film Festival in France.
Really?
And yes, we did.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we did.
That's a dream for me.
Yes,
Being an actor, that's like candy.
Right. I know you light up on that one.
Yeah.
So what we did was we're part of the gifting suite. We work with shout out to DPA. They're the company that works with the celebrities and the gifting suites all around the world. Right? Anything, Oscars, Academy Award, you name it. And what they did was they reached out to me via email, and they was like, "Hey, you want to be a part of this? You just gotta send your product. This way." So I was like, perfect. So I had my manufacturer produce a bunch of luggage tags from the house of Donaldson, right? Premium brand.
Right.
And what I did with that is I had them insert a QR code. Yeah. And then has House of Donaldson, the EIG. You send the QR code, and then you can follow us on social media. So there are luggage tags that you could just put on your back, but it was able to connect with a ton of different celebrities that way. And you never know. One or two might reach out eventually to you and say, "Hey, well, I was at Cannes and I saw your luggage tags. You got some suits, something for the red carpet." So that's kind of, again, one of those type of seeds, like you said, making that investment and putting that seed in the ground. Yeah. And then growing it from there.
Well, yeah, especially because, that probably costs you a little bit of manufacturing and send these out. But something like Cannes Film Festival, one of the biggest types of film festivals ever. Celebrities of all walks of life go to something like that. So if they can pick it up and be like, shoot, my luggage tag just broke. Okay. And then they take this and like, yo, what's this? And then they look it up, and that's how they can be like, hey, I know this is going to be really weird, but I'm Tom Cruise, and I saw your luggage tag. I just so happened mine broke last week and I needed a new one. I don't like going to Walmart and just getting the crappy ones because I can't go. I'm too famous. What can you do? And that's how you make those connections. It's like, oh yeah, absolutely. And it's like, so that might cost you a little bit, but that investment could be like, oh, well, now Tom Cruise is one of my clients, and I custom make him a thing everywhere he goes.
There you go.
He gets like 3 of them a year, and then one year it's like, oh, we have Golden Globes. I need a custom suit for the Golden Globe Awards.
There you go.
Cool. All right, it's going to be this. And you just made yourself a huge client off of a little bit of an investment, but it just increased everything more. And then obviously the network that he has of like, yo, where'd you get that suit? That is tight.
Correct.
Oh, it's from this guy. I have a guy down in Phoenix who custom makes everything.
Sure, there you go.
Then, boom,
connections.
It just explodes.
Exactly.
All right. Wow. Man. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I'm super glad that we finally get to sit down and talk. Yeah. I knew the second I saw the suit and everything, I'm like, I was magnetized to you. I was like, I gotta talk to this guy. This guy's got a story. This guy, he's got something going on behind that. And I need to kind of dig in a little bit because that's the whole thing with this. Is like when you were talking about the social media thing earlier. I like to get to know someone for who they actually are instead of like what they post about, and kind of get the story behind, because as an entrepreneur, you have to learn from everything around you.
Absolutely.
And so part of me doing this is like getting someone of any industry. I don't care what kind of industry you're part of, because I might not be in the fashion industry myself.
Sure.
But a lot of the stuff, it's universal.
Yes.
Like something I learned in marketing class for this can be transferred into being reiterated for this. And so it's really awesome to kind of see the similarities and everything like that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I so much appreciate you taking
thank you for
time.
having
I know
me.
that you're probably a very busy guy, so the fact that you took some time to come and talk to me.
Thank you for having me.
It means so much to me, truly.
Absolutely, man.
Any specific shout outs you want to give
them? You can check us out at houseofdonaldson.com. You can set your appointment there, check out our fabrics, or you can check out Being Dapper. We also do tuxedo rentals for Being Dapper. We're in Arcadia. Doesn't matter really. All we need is your measurements. We can do it via Zoom. We do virtual styling.
Cool.
And then House of Donaldson on IG, House of Donaldson on LinkedIn, as well as check out House of Donaldson on Facebook and in the houseofdonaldson.com. And again, we love delivering confidence through custom luxury because you're the masterpiece. We just add the details.
Oh, I love it. That's the taglines are the best part. I love like little things.
Yeah.
And speaking of taglines, I'm going to have you do your little tagline that I was telling you about before.
Okay.
So, hi, my name is full name, and then I've just been unmasked. So, I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Hi, this is JC Donaldson with House of Donaldson, and I just put on a full mask.
Perfect. Oh, just been unmasked. But
put on a mask?
Oh, no, I've just been unmasked.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. You got the editing software. So, hi, this is JC Donaldson with House of Donaldson, and I have just now been unmasked.
There we go. Heck yeah. Thank you.